So we have a global shortage of healthcare workers. We just can't keep building more hospitals and training more doctors. It's unsustainable. Most of what impacts our health happens outside of the hospital, whether it's at home, in the office, in the car, and so on. If we want to do things like detect diseases earlier or even prevent diseases, we are going to need to collect data about our health in between visits to the doctor. This is where sectors outside of healthcare can find new opportunities. Consider electricity suppliers. They have data on electricity usage by their customers. What if they could analyse that, spot unusual patterns, and detect that an elderly customer living alone hasn't used any electricity like they normally do after waking up, so they've possibly fallen over, and alert the authorities or a caregiver? What about office chairs and desks that track our posture and nudge us to sit properly when we slouch? Think of all the days lost to back pain. Or would the car of the future be tracking our health during our commute and sending the data to our doctor? So many opportunities outside of the hospital, not just to monitor our health, but ensure we remain healthy. Healthcare still doesn't put cybersecurity as high as a priority as it should be. Consider that our bodies generate data 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, most of which is not being captured. So once we start capturing more of that data, it becomes even more critical that investment in cybersecurity happens, especially to retain the trust of your customers. Imagine you're the CEO of the future and your smart toilet that monitors your health and looks for signs of early disease actually is hacked, and the criminals threaten to share publicly that you have a certain disease unless you pay them, and you don't even know you've got this disease, and your doctor doesn't even know, your company doesn't even know. So huge implications ahead for cybersecurity. So this is a really complex topic, and some of the work has begun already, including in health. But I feel that organizations are still just jumping ahead in AI projects without really considering how their algorithms may be biased, whether or not they have collected representative data that is being used to train their AI models. And if you're not designing with ethical principles in mind, you're putting your entire future of your organization and impact on society at risk. So the working environment continues to be stressful for many, whether it's remote, whether it's hybrid, whether it's working in the office. And I believe a lot of organizations have struggled to adapt to what's needed and still have a lack of trust in their employees to be able to work remotely and without supervision, without necessarily being in the office. So what's clear is that flexibility is needed, so that employees, contractors, and employers all will need to invest in ways where emotional, physical, and mental health can be protected no matter where or when you work. Possibly. We face a big challenge with digital inclusion, especially with people who are older, people who are poorer, and that challenge isn't going away anytime soon. And given how many services are becoming digital by default, we have to be thinking about designing for everyone rather than just the privileged few. We also have to think about which organizations outside of healthcare will have health data on billions of users. Whoever has that data on our health outside of the hospital can influence so much in our world. I had debilitating symptoms. I was unable to do very much for most of the year. I turned to sharing my journey on Twitter every day, which helped me connect with other patients going through the same illness, as well as raise awareness of long COVID. Social media can be an incredible force for good. Once I recovered almost 6 months ago, I started to invest in getting back to optimal health, so fasting every day, exercise, healthier food, sleep, etc. And then I have lost almost 30 kilograms and I've never felt fitter or stronger. We need to enable people to be able to make healthier choices every day, supporting them. We have COP26 conference coming up next month. People are dying prematurely due to air pollution. Globally, it's estimated the healthcare sector emits 4.4% of global greenhouse gas emissions. The NHS here in the UK is the first healthcare system to commit to net zero by 2050. By the end of this century, we are forecast to have a population in the world of 11 billion versus just under 8 billion today. This is why we need to be thinking not just about a sustainable future, but a healthier future too. What if you could play a role in preventing people from getting sick and that helped to reduce how many people and healthcare workers need to travel to a hospital? That could begin to help with the climate crisis. It's easy to think that partnering with a startup or buying the latest cool technology is enough to innovate, but the tech is the easy part, in my opinion. The key barriers to innovation are people, policy, process, i.e., your culture. Working on transforming your organizational culture is essential. New ideas and innovation can come from anywhere in the organization, so tap into the power of everyone's ideas, not just those with digital in their job title. So the pandemic has made many realize that our individual and collective health is the foundation upon which our world is built and runs. Social, political, and cultural trends continue to change. And if you can start thinking about health beyond healthcare, solving problems for your customers, and make an even bigger impact on society, you will maximize your chances of staying relevant.